All right, guys. Thanks to Team Liquid, as well as, of course, Shopify and all the sponsors of the TSL Team Liquid Star League 5. They have shared the replays with a couple of content creators like myself and said, hey, do you want to do some analytical breakdowns, some casts, for your YouTube and whatever? Spread the love to the series, this tournament series that's going on in these isolation times. And I've said, wait, you're willing to just give me replays of like the best matches out at the moment? They've said yes, and I've said, oh. So we've got Innovation SoO. This is winners bracket round 2. It's a best of 5 match between two of the best players out there right now. This guy especially has looked unstoppable recently. He doesn't show a lot of emotion when he's up there in GSL in the booth. But he just looks so on point, and his ability to absorb punches and just slowly come back and win in macro games, second to none at the moment. In the top left, in the blue, it is Innovation. He's one of the few Terrans who I actually think is changing perceptions of balance right now, where it almost looks unfair. When someone's facing Innovation, it's like, oh, like he makes Terran look overpowered at the moment. Even Maru doesn't really do that as much. Ino does it, like, he looks you're like, is this race fair? It's like, no, Innovation's just really good. Down here in the bottom right, a player who, of course, is always up and down, more often up than not, though, perennial second place finisher in many tournaments, until, of course, he did win that IEM Katowice 2019. I believe he'd won an IEM before that, right? Or no, it was a Kesper Cup. But he's made it like second place in GSL like 7 times or something ridiculous. One of the best StarCraft 2 players of all time. It's SoO. He's going to be going for a hatch first here. Now, Innovation did a standard Barracks Gas Open, scouting with the SCV, and you'll notice Innovation no longer attempts to block the third. A lot of the Zergs would try to, dance with the Reaper in the SCV, the eBay block. They would send Lings across to harass his natural. Innovation has said, that creates an inconsistent opening where there's too many opportunities for them to delay my command center, to distract, to pressure, to damage me. Innovation just does a very standard poke to the front with his Reaper in most of his games these days. Haven't seen him do that eBay block in a little while. We'll see if he brings it out later in this series. Just going to look for Zergling pickoffs, of course. SoO starting Ling speed immediately, continuing to drone, and it looks like it's going to be a 30 supply third hatchery. Does go down at that base. Reaper, of course, has to back off right now as that queen's out. Early creep tumor gets down without any delay. So SoO's got a real head start on the creep spread as that has not been interrupted. And no losses just yet on either side. So one worker has been put back on gas now for SoO. So just trickling a little bit of mining. The queen's going to say, get the hell out of here. And that Reaper will back off. Back at home, immediate swap over, factory starting Hellions, Starport on the way, Tech Lab going down there as well, of course, Orbital on the natural, Mules starting to drop. Interestingly, this Marine here was just checking for Overlords peeking in. SoO's Overlord positioning, though, look at this, he's being real kind of, whoa, sorry guys, we just accidentally hit the rewind 10-second button. So, for those who don't know, why would you have that bound if you're casting games? Right now, BattleNet's out. Yeah, you can't log into BattleNet. So I'm watching offline, which means none of my settings are my normal caster settings. I've gone and changed the most fundamental one, which is the ability to follow units. I haven't gone and done everything else. So I'm using defaults. If I mishit something, I apologize. We did a quick little rewind 10 seconds there. Thankfully, we're able to still do StarCraft content while BattleNet's out, which is nice. So that Reaper's going to have a bit of a dance around. We've got Hellions here. More Hellions coming out. Now, I'm expecting Banshees. But no, it's going to be the Liberator. Okay. Now, Innovation, I feel like Clem is the best player in the world at keeping his Liberator alive and sending it home to repair and reusing it over and over again. I'm looking forward to seeing if Innovation is, quite at that same level. What's this Zergling doing? Interesting. He's just going to go for a bit of a scout by the looks of it. Maybe come in and check the third base doesn't build on location and try to run in and scout what the follow-up is. Because you'll notice no Overlord speed. SoO's been super blind this game. Is assuming there's a natural. Is not going Overlord speed. Is really just focusing on a big economy opening. Is up to 4 queens with 2 more on the way right now. The creep spreading so quickly in every direction. And this is just such a nice standard setup here for SoO. Now that Liberator is not going to be spotted coming down this south side of the map. And it's already queued to come into the main. There's no spotting Overlords on the edge. Oh, yes, there is. This Overlord is going to fill this vision. So that should get there in time to see the Lib. The Hellions, of course, are going to look for a potential dart in at the same time. And a semi-wall off here, which means the Hellions will have to attack through a choke. Zerglings ready to stop it. That being said, there are some drones exposed on the third base, but I love that the Zerglings are split. A few at the third, a few in the natural. The Queens are split. 2 at the third, 3 on the natural ramp. And he sees the lib. How many Queens pull into the main? Oh my god, SoO not reacting. He hasn't built a Spore. He hasn't moved his Queen. That's going to come back in on the third. The Hellion's going to come in. That's a lot of Hellions. 8 Hellions and a Reaper. They roast those meager Zergling defenses, and oh man, that was not a lot of Zerglings. This was not a lot of respect. The Liberator there has forced the drones off, but the drone kill's starting to rack up here. And SoO just caught being a little bit too low on the Zergling count. Oh man. Where's that Liberator? The Liberator's just hiding over there in the left in the dead space. So many Zerglings go down. The Lings finally get the wraparound, and they do manage to surround and take him out. Quick Spore Crawler movement here. Lib may cancel a drone from building, but no, we'll just pull back for now. I mean, this is a huge disruption. Remember, there's a quick third CC behind this. It's almost done. The gas is on the natural finishing. 1-1 is started. The second and third barracks up. Now, interestingly, Inno is building 2 Widow Mines. I was about to say, that's a mistake. There's no reason you're building Widow Mines there. Swaps it onto the barracks. It's meant to be just Marines. Those 2 medevacs gearing up for the next wave. Looks like the Liberator came back in and just even... Oh my god, why is there no Queen at the third? SoO, what are you doing? All of his Queens are on one control group. Split a Queen off. Oh man. I've seen a lot of players really trying to react to these libs with a minimal response. They want every Queen up front defending the Hellions. I think it's a huge mistake. I think if there's one thing that I would fix with any player who's trying to do this is always, once you know there's a lib, leave an extra Queen at each base if you can. Like if it's down here, you want this Queen to be positioned on the edge. You want to make sure you leave a Queen down at the third. You've got to be careful with that. I think SoO really gave too much mining time damage to that. Now, he's going to go out for the quick 4th base and try to take that. He's still got good creep spread. But the thing is, the lull and the pressure is almost over. 1-1 shields, stim are all done. Inno's coming out with 15 Marines, 2 medevacs. There's a small pack of Zerglings and a handful of Queens. They technically can defend this. But if he overextends with the Zerglings, they will go down. Inno really should be pushing. I think he's waiting for 1-1 before he fights. But he's got to start putting a dent in this creep and setting up for the push on the 4th. Now, SoO's only at 62 workers right now. Ooh, that Marine looking to bait those Zerglings forward. SoO is only on 5 gas, which is a good decision. I think he's going to try to play 4 gases, in fact, yeah. That's a good way to come back here. Play low gas, try to just go mass Lingbane Queen. These are the units that are going to win you fights in the mid-game. You just need enough Lingbane. The Queen takes a Widow Mine shot. Ooh, good split on the Zerglings. The Widow Mine's not really achieving much. A single Widow Mine on the Queen's not impactful. He hangs on. Bane speed's on the way. He finds the gas to squeeze in that +2 carapace. So he's got an upgrade advantage just by a couple seconds. Inno not far behind there. It's already straight into Widow Mine production here for Inno, who's already building 3 more barracks. What the hell, man? He is going to 8 barracks so quickly. Sometimes we see Inno add reactors, but I'm pretty sure here on Nightshade, those are just going to be adding Marine production. It's a very much about momentum a lot of the time here. Usually we see tanks to start off the pushes, but I love that Inno's just going Widow Mines and he's already split pushing. These units on the left, he's just looking for good Widow Mine hits, looking for good trades. Those pick up. Guess what? Those units on the right can jump in at the same time. For now, being a little bit more conservative, just pushing one side at a time. But he's going to keep the creep back, keep SoO in his corner, and just choose when and where these trades happen. So once again, Biomine coming in here. I would have liked to see him focus fire those Banelings and stand his ground a second longer. Try to optimize that big Widow Mine hit. For now, SoO, he's got that big Ling Bane count I was talking about. Remember, SoO does not have flexibility. He doesn't have a lot of gas mining, but now he's got 10 workers on the 4th. So it's getting close to 4 mineral lines saturated. He's squeezing out a few more drones. He's got a second macro hatch on the way, which I love here. And he's actually not even trying to go hive. He's playing a style that looks like he's trying to go hive, but he's actually just going massling Bane. Good hot pickups there. The Widow Mines don't actually get the big money shots that I thought they might have. This is a dangerous fight for both sides, but I think Inno does win. No, good trade for SoO there, I think. SoO actually overwhelms those Marines. A bad fight for Innovation. Inno, of course, still up in supply right now. He's continuing to pressure. That creep cannot seem to get onto these middle ridges of the map. He's going to look to drop around. Is he just going to commit? I think he knows about that Spore Crawler, so it's a dangerous area to drop. You're going to take too much damage on those Marines. And guys, this is Biomine with no drilling claws. That's what's so fascinating about this. This is all about the bio. And I mean, we saw Tasia play late game versus Dark's Mutiling Bane. with almost pure bio, right? A couple of mines, a Thor here or there. But we saw Tasia take Dark to the limit in that GSL series. Dark, one of the best Zergs in the world, off almost pure Marine Marauder. And that's essentially what we're seeing here is a little bit of Widow Mine support, but these are not Tunneling Core Widow Mines. There's usually only a few of them in each fight. There's a few more in this one. There's a couple of Banelings will get gunned down. Zergling's going to dive in. A quick unburrow, but they are not Drilling Claw mines. They can't reburrow in time. That being said, the Marines are off creep, but a few decent Baneling hits. These Marines behind the minerals on the right-hand side take a good fight, though. A cancel on the 5th base there, and Innovation does hold strong. He's got the high ground here. And once again, like I said, SoO just cannot breach the high ground. Finally, Creep getting onto this ridge over here, but this is the least important area on this map. He needs it up on these high ground areas. There's too many ridges, too many little cliffs where Innovation is taking advantage and using that momentum. Now, a Ling run by going to come in, trying to buy time. It should find the money. At the same time, a few Banelings and Zerglings going and trying to hold this off. A lot of SCVs starting to fall, but he does mineral walk out. The reinforced deals with it. Ling Bane tries to break Innovation on the front. There's a lot of Widow Mines out here. The Banes do find the mark on a few Marines, but I don't think that's a good enough hit. Remember, SoO was down, was behind, was bleeding from this early game. And now with Innovation sniping that 4th, these Marauders with concussive 2-2 spread throughout this army. Such a problem for the Banelings. Anytime you A-move those Banelings, anytime the Marines spread out and you're forced to just kind of engage willy-nilly, the Marauders are tanking so many of those units, not to mention the concussive shells slowing down SoO's engagements. Now that all comes back, of course, to that opening pressure. And we've seen this a lot lately. You know, a lot of players as Terran just go 6 Hellions and they will dart in and or they'll poke around, but they won't actually use those Hellions until their first Marine tank push comes. This was a bigger commitment. And he actually did see that there was 8 Hellions, but trying to defend with just 9 Zerglings in almost 5 minutes and 6 Queens, don't get much greedier than that. He was trying to go very quick upgrades. So if you're going against someone who's building, you know, a lot of these units like this, like really going for the upgrade lead was SoO, also sends these Lings across, which is a big mistake at this point. Those Lings, if they were at home helping defend this choke, it would have been a different story. Now, here, of course, you can also say, imagine if that Queen just shuffled up 1 Hex. Instead of attack moving, if that Queen shuffled up, these Hellions would get stuck on these Queens and take a lot more damage. They would have to drive around that way. This is a huge, huge issue. Of course, some players like to consolidate the defense around the 3rd, and they will actually have their Baneling nest there as well and just put the Queen in the wall to try to block it completely. But these Hellions got in and just did too much. The Liberator came in at the same time. I'm amazed that there wasn't a Queen left. Now, this Queen gets pulled down to deal with the Hellions, but I feel like one of these Queens should have been off control group. Like, when he saw the Lib coming to the main, I would have sent that Queen over to the edge. Like, you know, spread a creep from here and start dealing with that. Obviously, you need everything to defend the Hellions. They're the more impactful damage right now. I just don't think this one Queen really adds anything. She tickles a few Hellions. The Lings now have to wrap around. Too many drones went down here. And I think there was a mistake in the follow-up from SoO as well. Now, people are like, oh, why are you talking about just SoO making mistakes? I'm a fanboy. This is what we call an analytical cast, where I talk about things the players could have done better and the conclusions they would have drawn as players from that game, so that you can also learn while watching. I love SoO. I think he's a great player. Not the best late game player by any means. I am critical of that, but that's just his feature. He's one of the best early and mid game players. But yeah, no Queen left down here. This Lib just kept wasting mining time. Now that was a second Lib that came in, so don't get me wrong. This was not cheap. Inno did commit quite a bit to this pressure. Just the amount of mining time that's lost, the amount of douchebaggery that this Liberator gets done here. Unfortunately, Inno didn't shift click the drones, so wasted a few shots on a Queen there. Could have killed 2 or 3 more drones, but at this point, SoO was in a really rough position. You know, equal workers, it's not just that. It's the fact that it's equal workers, no 4th base started, no macro hatch started. Lair and Baneling speed are miles away, and the Terran has Stim and Medevacs and a pack of Marines on the map. So the problem is, once they have those units, they start to push your creep back, they start to force you to engage and micro and build more Zerglings and Queens. From this point, SoO was pretty far behind, and this is also a very tough map for Zerg versus Terran due to all these different cliff pushing paths. But a very cool style from Inno. No second factory, no tank production, just straight into Widow Mines and a very fast 8 barracks, one of his favorite styles. He's been an expert at it for a long time, and very well played. GG's. Let's go game 2. Hey, Belliam, where are you from, mate? So, okay. I will, you know what? I will let my guy at Thingo, at 2K know right now. You're from Hungary. So I don't know if it's, maybe it only works for people from here or something. Go ahead and just buy it from wherever. I appreciate it. I don't actually get like money from those sales. It's just a way of letting 2K know, hey, look, a bunch of people are buying. Hey, mate, because I had people on Twitter say the same, hey, mate, just a heads up. I've had multiple people from overseas say they aren't able to purchase XCOM through the link. Not sure if it's region bound, but would be cool if we could have it be accessible for all regions in future to track numbers. Not sure if it really matters, since obviously marketing budgets are regionalized, etc. But no problem. So guys, I just wanted to very quickly answer that because people have been asking me all morning. People keep trying to buy XCOM off the link on Switch and keep asking me, and I'm like, oh, just a heads up. But don't worry about it. Like I said, just go buy it through your own link. I really appreciate you guys trying to support me through that. For us, it's just a way of them saying, hey, is this, you know, oh, do Pigs fans like XCOM, essentially? That's all they're looking at, guys. All right, so people in chat are popping in right now. They're saying, Pig, you're on Battle.net right now. How are you casting this series? Offline. So when it fails to log you in, you can go play offline. I am casting replays. I am not able to play ladder right now, but we are able to cast TSL replays, thank God. Big thank you, Infinite Nina, for the 8-month resub. Frenchie Ray, ooh, with the 3 months. Thanks for the cocktail, report back. It's a very tasty, very sweet drink. It's a bit of a sweet tooth drink. People always make fun of me. They're like, that's not whiskey, you fucking, you know, you fucking pansy. I'm like, I know, it's delicious. It's fucking great. I enjoy whiskey as well. I'm a man of many tastes, but people are shitting on it. There's always someone who shits on my Frangelico drink. It's actually so good. And the good thing is it's a very friendly drink. You can give that to a fucking 14-year-old and they'll say it's tasty. You can give it to someone who doesn't really like drinking stiff liquor. They'll enjoy it. It's good stuff. Guys, Innovation's going for a Proxy Reaper. There's a gas behind this, right? But it looks like a Proxy 1-Rax from the start. There was never a second SCV. So arguably it's not as bad as it could be. It's pretty fucking bad. The SCV, oh, he's hiding in the corner. How lucky can you get, Innovation? So what he keeps doing is he halts construction, hops back on, so that there's a chance each time that it's going to hover to a new spot, and he wants it to hover up there, but it does go down. New SCV's here, though. You know, this barracks isn't going to get delayed that long. This SCV will finish it. Now, I like leaving 2 drones here, just because you got to... Oh my god, you lucky bastard. How are the best Terran players able to so consistently... Sweet essence. Sue says... That's basically have a glass of fuck off with your SCV luck. That's essentially what this sweet essence spray on the ground is from Sue. He's like, you dickhead. How dare you? He's gone pull first. He's got a pretty quick gas. So ling speed's super fast. So, you know, obviously Sue's got a lot of control here. Inno has to build a command center and a second depot on the high ground to wall off. Now, I actually would like to see a factory before second depot. Yeah, okay. It's good to see. I'm like, why would you... It's way more important. Now notice he's built a Reaper and then the barracks is just going to float home. So he's like, I've got 1 Reaper. Good opening for Sue, but because Sue, I mean, I kind of wish Sue went hatch first, right? You know? Because the Reaper was delayed by the barracks being delayed, like, I feel like you'd be fine. Maybe you have to do a Spore Crawler trick, but... I mean, as it is, it's still good. Early Queen's nice. She does defend the Reaper very well and can just basically drone to his heart's content. I want Sue to send a drone out to that 3rd base right now. I think it's really important to do that nice and quick, because otherwise the Reaper might run over, block it by a few seconds of time. That being said, the 2 Zerglings are going to force that Reaper home, working on that wall. The factory is building a tech lab, which means there is no follow-up Hellion pressure. Now, if you can actually... He's seen it. If you click on that as the Zerg, you just take a 3rd and you drone... No, don't be building a Baneling. Oh, he was already committing to the Baneling. Wait, did Inno see it? Inno did not see it, but he saw he was mining gas past ling speed, so he knows there's a threat. This makes no sense as Sue. To do a Baneling bust here, it's like he's trying to get the easy win. And it can work, don't get me wrong, but the thing is like, I think he should get there before the tank's there, and since he's not reinforcing the wall... Okay, because Innovation doesn't know it's coming, it should be fine. Yeah, he's going Fusion Core, he wants to go BC. Wait, that was a tech lab. Oh, he canceled the tech lab and made a reactor. I'm not blind, right? I'm not blind. I swear he canceled that. Anyway, the banelings are here. And it doesn't matter. He's dead. He's dead. So the Reaper comes over. It gets in. It sees Massling and a Bane Nest. Innovation's like, oh, shit. Now notice the banelings clicked on the command center so that they took out both sides at once. Lovely play there by SoO. 2 Hellions in a Dream. Now, you gotta be careful as SoO. You can't headbutt. SCVs plus Hellions actually wreck small numbers of Zerglings, and there's actually not that many Zerglings right now, but he opens the warp. This Baneling's the problem. 2 Hellions take forever to kill a Baneling. They can't kill a Morphing Baneling. Just doesn't happen in time. And, oh man, the Zergling's starting to get damaged. The big Baneling burst. Big bursty boy. Busting his acidy explosive load all over that mineral line. Okay, I'll stop. The 2 Hellions, I mean, there's still 4 Hellions alive. This red hit point Hellion just will not go down. The SCVs are trying to hide in the pocket. Innovation here with a heroic hold so far. I really feel like you could have just gotten ahead defensively, but you know what? SoO says, why give him the opportunity? Why give him the chance to get back in this game? I'm just going to morph Banelings in the corner. There's no way. As long as you can't get your wall up, I'm fine. So, wants to push him back to the wall and then get an SCV down there and wall it off, but he's unable to do it right now. The Hellions clicking on the Banelings. They actually get both of them. A few more SCVs get focused by the Lings, but he shuts down the Banelings, which is the more important thing. Red hit point Hellion, very low. Zergling's looking for the surround. Innovation. Oh my god, these are some greasy Hellions right now. The Zerglings go in, they get a Mule, they get another SCV. Are they going to get one more? They're getting roasted. Innovation has double Mule dropping. This is a 2-hatch Zerg who started droning now. Don't get me wrong. I think it's still okay and fine for SoO. It's like, fucking Terran's unfair. Just make a couple Bernie cars, you just hold everything. Dirty piece of shit. He cancelled the lib. He wants to go straight BC. Wouldn't it be funny if SoO just dies to a BC? So SoO's going Lair. He wants to go Spire. Please put a 3rd hatchery down. Please put a 3rd hatchery down, SoO. It's just going to give you more flexibility, because SoO might have to build a lot of Zerglings to defend these Hellions. I feel like he really does need more production here. And I feel like that BC is going to hit well before Spire. I mean, he's building a Queen. He's only got 3, though. I mean, the BC plus Hellion counter pressure is scary. I think economically, SoO's way ahead. I just worry for his ability to defend that Hellion battlecruiser attack. If he can shut that down, game's in the bag. He's far enough ahead. It's a 1-base Terran. I'm kind of looking at this in terms of how Innovation could resurrect himself after such a bad start with that barracks being spotted. It is still definitely SoO in the big advantage here. Now that Hellion comes in, what are we doing, SoO? Why is he not mining extra gas yet? So he's just focusing on his minerals right now, but he's not focusing on a 3rd hatch. Now he's going out to the 3rd. I mean, he really focused on oversaturating both mineral lines. So I don't know, actually, that's kind of mature, right? He says, I need non-stop Queen production. I need more hatcheries, more drones. My infrastructures are way off. So he's actually making sure he doesn't cut minerals at all. I do still think a quicker 3rd base would have been nice, but he's only now taking these gases. I think they could have probably been up a little bit earlier as well. That BC is out, guys. It YOLOs. It YOLOs. The Queen pulls back to the spore. Pull the drones back. The drones are staying out in the open a little bit. Bit of a misstep there from SoO. Oh, he saves one with a Spore Trick. Nicely done. And 4 Queen's going to push back that battlecruiser. I mean, if Inno comes back in this game, it's actually incredible. He's going Yamato in a 2nd BC, so he's almost certainly playing mech. 3rd CC building on the low ground. 49 drones to 29 SCVs. The thing is, I think this is the point where if SoO had a 3rd, 1 or 2 rounds of drones, and he's at a point of critical economy where Innovation can't catch up. But because that 3rd's so delayed, it gets a little bit of hope. Just a little bit. Little trickle of hope here for Inno. And that's good damage on the BC. This is really nice. Anytime the BC oversteps like that, it gives comfort to the Zerg, who's now building Mutas. Scan does see the Spire. Now the reaction is going to be Engineering Bay goes down. Couple Widow Mines start up. No armory, no Thors. He's just going to defend with BCs, a few turrets, a couple mines, which is, I think, the right call. You don't need to defend. He cancels the eBay. What? Oh, he already built an engineering bay to wall off. He realizes, wait, I already have one of those. Now, that's an interesting turret there, because that doesn't cover the mineral line. So I'm kind of like, wait, what? He's covering the middle of the base, the mineral line. He's doing, okay, he's kind of doing them as like, it's almost, oh, he's worried about protecting his BCs from corruptors because he doesn't know it's going to be mutas until now. So he's worried about a corruptor dive, and he wants to create a sort of centralized area of defense. That makes sense. Third BC is on the way. Ito's like, let's just keep making BCs. Now, SoO's up to 65 drones, so that critical economic disparity I was talking about, well, we're starting to get there. Now, that's a Baneling nest. Mutiling Bane, I think it's okay when you're this far ahead versus mech. Otherwise, I still do prefer someone always having Roach Tech available. Ino really doesn't have that mass Hellion production that you might be worried about. Just come in, 3 SCVs. Sorry guys, we have double music soundtracks on. Let me fix that up real quick. 2 mutas get you mottoed for 3 SCVs. That's totally fine. All right, 1 second, guys. That replay is continuing. Drip, 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 drip. And we're back in. Let's go. All right, so the muta count's continuing to grow. Now, obviously, Cyril talked about this on when we were chatting the other week on the Pig Show, and he was saying, you know, it's actually not hard against mech. Mutiling Bane is actually really good. You just get control. And then you can go to, you know, your late game and basically, you know, keep momentum. And I was like, Mutiling Bane, what the fuck? I kind of feel like he was trolling. Like, part of me is actually like, oh, that's misinformation he's saying in public, specifically because players are doing it, but he like actually thinks it's bad. He's just kind of happy that Terran players are too dumb to counter it. Like, that's like a conspiracy theory in my head. I kind of believe him. I kind of think he's lying. There's just something about that that's crazy. This is a Widowmine battlecruiser attack. I'd love to see... So the Widow Mines are there to defend against the mutas. How do you fight this with mutas? The Queens and Zerglings need to run in and take the Widow Mine shots. The Unburrows? Yeah, good micro, good micro, good micro. SoO just refuses to take the Widow Mines with the mutas. A BC goes down. A BC dies. Another BC teleports out. 2 BCs down. All right. So do we GG now? No, he's trying to go Thors and Hellions for the next one. It was a cute attack to slow down SoO. I kind of feel like this game, if it was going to be won by Inno, it was off the back of just turtling and turtling and turtling, you know? Oh, these turrets just not quite finishing. He's trying to repair the BC, and it looks like it's going okay until these Banelings come in. Oh, actually, all the SCVs already died to the bloody couple of Zerglings and Mutalisk Splash. All right, that's going to be that. Inno's proxy barracks gets found. SoO, oh my god. Ooh, shit. Oh my god. The shit talk. I don't know what that is, but I know what a question mark means when you're winning. And you're like, do you want to get out, buddy? It's the equivalent for anyone out there who's 14 years old. It's the equivalent of saying, I banged your mum. It's about the same level of respect. It's, whoa. I mean, maybe they're great friends. Maybe it's banter. Maybe it's a little bit of both. I'm not quite sure. Either way, I like it. A bit spicy. Innovation does make some comments, both when winning and losing to his opponents, when he's playing Oli Mole League and whatnot. So things go multiple ways. Up here in the top right, in the blue, it is Innovation. You know, it's so weird with Inno. Does he have a team at the moment, guys? I still, when I say Innovation's name, I still think SKT. Isn't that insane? It's like such a history sometimes with teams. It's sad that they are no longer in StarCraft. Of course, this monster down here representing the Africa Freaks. It is SoO, sponsored by Africa, which is cool. You did what to my mom? It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Bit of a casual boinking. Look at these overlords, by the way. You can see at this level people looking for proxy barracks. The Terrans have put the fear into the Zergs. This is why you're going to start to see players like notice how SoO's never scouting the natural? I want to see players doing like one base, all-ins. They're like, oh yeah, SoO doesn't scout. He just goes like hatch first, and his overlords just go and set up in these weird spots out here looking for the Hellions coming out. It's like, I want to see someone who's like, oh, I just build 5 barracks here, and then I hit like a 4-minute mass marine SCV timing. I want to see someone countering SoO. SoO's a little bit of a gambler. He's a player who can cut a small corner here or there and get way ahead off it. So, I mean, I remember watching SoO at a point where I was like, how is he getting so far ahead in these games, like consistently? And he was just swarming his opponents in the mid game. And I realized when most Zergs had 6 queens, he had 4. This was a point like a year and a half ago. And I was like analyzing SoO's replays, and I was like, what? Why does he only have 4 queens against Terran? And he was basically just like, the Terrans were being greedy, and he was like, and really defensive and not diving with their Hellions in this meta. So he was like, yeah, I just don't have queens. He's like, I just have a handful of Zerglings to like surround the Hellions if they're a more aggressive player. But basically, I just have less queens. I have 1 queen on creep duty, and then I just like rush to Baneling speed and upgrades and 3 bases of workers, and then I just completely control the mid game because I've just droned up so hard, and then I run away with the game. And it's like, oh wait, it's like this thing where it's like, okay, wait. So that if the Terran just is more oh whoa, Ino! Oh shit. Oh, and then there was a pause. Oh my god. That's hilarious. So Ino just lost his first Reaper. Paused the game, blamed lag, or a spike or something. And then SoO was already dropping the trash talk with the question mark there. Oh my. That bunker gets cleaned up immediately. And I mean, Ino was going for the 2 Reaper opening as well. The whole point of the 2 Reaper opening is that actually makes sense. If you're going to block the 3rd, because these Zergling counterattacks are such a threat, you build 2 Reapers. That way you can both intercept links coming across the map with 1 Reaper, while another Reaper blocks the drone at the 3rd, along with your bunker or your engineering bay. But losing that other Reaper, all this means is you've delayed your Hellions so long to do this opening. And guess what? We've got Roaches already coming across the map. He's chasing Zerglings right now. Oh, SoO's going to completely blindside him. This is the hatch first. Make it look like a normal build straight into Roachmoran. These Lings are doing their job. Do you know what that job is? It's, hey, look at me. Hello. Look at me. Don't go scout. Now the Reaper, let's go to Innovation's camera. He sees the Roaches, and we're watching from Inno's camera. He's like, oh, shh. Pull to the high ground, bunker on top of the ramp. He's building Marauders. He's building more Hellions. Oh, man. He needs to get those Hellions on top of the ramp. He needs to raise the depots. He needs a backup bunker. I mean, he's dead. He's gone 3 CC as well. One of his Hellions pops on the outside of the wall. He's trying to dance that around. You're watching here one of the highest level players try to defend an attack which should not be defensible. It is a mass Ravager attack here. There's 20 Zerglings coming in behind this. The Hellions on the ramp are very powerful. He scrolls to the bottom, seeing that his command center is tanking damage. He leaves it landed. He wants that command center to distract as long as it doesn't die. SCV's being pulled. He's got to hold this choke point where the Hellions can stop those Zerglings from getting surface area. The Widowmine burrow is huge. Big boy Widowmine. A bio lands on the Marauder, but doesn't really hit too many SCVs. He loses 14 SCVs, but he holds the ramp. Oh my god, pulling every SCV off the main to hold that narrow choke point. A godlike defense. He had so little warning. I mean, this was everything going wrong, and Innovation winning that engagement purely off the positioning on top of that ramp. The power of that ramp, if you can hold them there in that choke point, even the Hellions end up doing good damage versus Roaches. You think of Hellions as not doing anything versus Roaches, and they don't in the open, but when they're on that ramp, they actually do okay damage. And more importantly, if those Zerglings at any moment get around the ramp and kind of wrap around the units, they'll just obliterate the SCVs, the Hellions, the Marauders. But as long as you hold them in that narrow choke point, the Zerglings, only a few can fight at a time, and they're all stacked up, so the Hellion splash does big damage. We saw the Widowmine splash. We're still watching from Inno's camera. Let's go back here as he... Actually, let's keep watching for a second. And he's going back to his normal plan. Double barracks goes down, double eBay. Remember, he has 3 mules dropping at a time. Awesome. Let's go back to everyone's camera. Every now and then I love when someone's in a shitty position or they identify a cheese. I like watching their point of view to see exactly what they prioritize and exactly what order. I feel like I can always learn a lot from that. And yeah, he's in a good spot. Is he winning? I think so. Let's take a look at the tech. So the thing is, the upgrades are a little ahead for SoO. He's up 10 workers, but with triple mule dropping, I don't think that matters. The lair is incredibly late. Yeah, I'd say it's a small advantage to Inno, but I'm no expert at judging these situations. We'll have to keep our eye on the next minute or so. Supply blocked on 69 is Innovation. That's because he does believe in the power of memes. You know, some Terran players out there They believe in perfect clinical play. Big Gabe says, I never get supply blocked at 69. I wait until I get to 420 supply. That's where I get supplied. Innovation's like, nah, man. I'm going to take a big supply block on 69. So that was a little nasty there. A bit unfortunate. SoO, on the other hand, up to 60 drones. Missing a gas there and a gas there. It's going to be that Massling Bane style from Nightshade, but off a much better start. You know, remember on Nightshade, he took a ton of damage to the Hellions and the 2 Liberators, but this time around, a bit more of a playable position for SoO. The medevac pressure is going to start. There's going to be a Spire squeezed in this time, so those gases are now going down. SoO's going to play a Mutiling Bane. Really good style for jumping on your opponent. I love that there's one Ravager left from the early game. A few Banelings morphing. Lings are going to come forward. See some Marines, some Widow Mines. I think this is an exact echo of game 1. 4th and 5th barracks only now finishing. Hellions are still looking to defend from run-bys. This is what I love. So you're often going to see these join up and morph into Hellbats at the front, but only once the push has started and the fighting started and you realize they're not committing to the counterattack. So you see, he brings them over now. They clear the Watchtower as well. Here we go. Lots of Ling Bane. Baneling speed, though, still about 25 seconds away. 2-2 starts up here for the Zerg with the advantage. Oh, this is a scary angle. Oh, good Widow Mine hit. I think he might have even target fired that. One of SoO's superpowers is that he's a Chad. So a lot of players are afraid to do these attacks. I think the most inspiring thing when I watch SoO is his ability to commit into a terrible angle, because his game sense says, I know I have the numbers to just push through. And there will be a moment where it's a bad angle, but then my numbers will just turn that equation upside down. So the fight might start bad, but it finishes well. So a lot of players, they get too static with how they look at engagements, right? And they don't notice that. They're not as flexible on it. Good raise on the wall. These Lings would love to pull him home, but he's just going to keep pushing forward. We've got a tank in here, so he's actually built some tanks this time. Ooh, those Hellbats creating a bit of a wall. The Marines gunning down all the Banes. And those Zerglings, they want to get the tank. Now, as the Marines separate, going after the Hatch and the Queens, those Lings can come back in from behind. They're waiting for that moment. He's going to try to pull out his innovation. He can actually pick everything up here. So I really like this, but SoO quickly moving forward to replace the creep. He's up to 80 workers, and remember, he's got those Lings there. He comes in, gets the wraparound on the tank. Marines do go down. Another tank is here. But Innovation wants to keep pushing this angle. 4th Command Center goes down. He's got a 2nd factory on the way. Has he seen that Spire? He has not. So when these Mutas come out, they're in production right now. They will be a little bit of a surprise. But SoO in control. His creep has been pushed way back, though. So as much as SoO, I look at the worker count, I look at the tech, the upgrades, I say, a pretty good position for SoO. With that 4th base still being a while away. At the same time, I'm kind of going, yeah, your creep spread's kind of shit, and you haven't really found any damage on the other side. So the thing is, if you're Mutiling Bane versus Biomine, there's a point where the fight hits 180 supply, there's more Marauders, the Widowmine count is big enough, you just start taking worse and worse fights. This here, it's a good position for Innovation, but the numbers are in SoO's favor. That is an insane Zergling count, a good spread of Banelings, and I kind of feel like now Innovation's job is to just get out of here. He's trying to create threat and stretch SoO out, and he's got a double drop hitting the left at the same time. SoO's not reacting. He's got vision of it for a solid 15 seconds. There's even a scan. And SoO still is not responding, not paying attention to his minimap. Oh no, SoO here. His drones quickly pull off. Remember, there's Mutas out. Oh, they're not clicking the hatchery, wasting time hitting extractors. Obviously, he's setting up the push here. Marines on the high ground start to gun those down. Picks up, boosts away. Oh, SoO, he's going to try to chase it down with the Mutas, but that's a lot of Marines, man. I think those Marines can just stand and fight. Oh, no, not a good fight with the Mutas, and guess what? The 4th base is not mining. SoO should have jumped on this army. Innovation stayed on the map with a non-reinforced army for several minutes, and SoO did not capitalize. He did not crush it, and now he's letting himself get pulled around. Guess what? This hatch, that's a free snipe. If Inno sees that, he will take it out. Now, fortunately for SoO, Inno doesn't know that SoO's a madman, but actually, no, goes down for the creep, and we'll find it. You just find the tanks. Oh, God, his army on the right almost got caught. Luckily, though, this double drop once again gets Innovation out of a bad situation, and he's like, cool, I'll just snipe a hatch and walk away. SoO, I think, missing opportunities, giving too much respect to Innovation's force here. Oh my God, as I say that, finally is going to catch Inno on the retreat. Does he get it? You know what? A few of the Marines get out there. I think that's okay. Inno's got a 4th base up behind this. Planetary is finished. Turret is finished. Where's the hive? Guess what? Infestation pit just started. Equal workers for both sides. Look at the unit count. We've got not many Marauders. That's the one weakness. But 8 Widow Mines, 2 Thors, 41 Marines, 3 3s getting closer to done. I mean, right now is SoO. I feel like you need to set up for a counterattack. You need to be rolling Banelings into bases. You can't just be sitting at home, because if you fight front on into this, the Marauder count's a little low. That's the, I mean, the Widow Mines need to whiff really badly for you to win this fight. The Widow Mines are a little clumped. They're very clumped. Banelings into the middle of that right now is so important. He's going for it, but he can't get close enough. SoO's looking for the frontal engagement. This is a crazy move at this point. As the Terran army reaches this size, it's very hard to take a cost-efficient fight. He's going to try it nonetheless. This bio does get a little bit stretched out up front, but holding the line rather well. And how do you engage this as SoO? He looks indecisive. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's going to try to roll Banelings in waves. That was a good Baneling roll. A very good Baneling roll. That Thor holding the choke point. It actually pulls back. Where's the Widow Mines? All the Widow Mines have been set off. All the Widow Mines are spread back a little bit. There's more coming in. A lot of Banelings washing up on this army. Most of the Mutalisks have died, though. This is such an expensive fight for SoO. He needs to get rid of some of these medevacs as well. This can't just be killing the ground army. You know what? It's not going to be. He's actually going to get it all. Oh, good boost, good pickup. The reinforce, though, saves a few medevacs. So, oh, he needed to do that because the start of that fight, so many Banelings and Mutas went down. It's about as cost inefficient as you can fight a Zerg. And I really feel he's got to use that mobility, hit the natural, cut the reinforce off. He can't just keep letting innovation push. He's going to do it. I mean, he took a masterful ability to take away the Widow Mine shots before the big fight started. But now there's a dent in the creep spread. Yes, you've got a good income here. You've got a hive finish, but you've got no tech off that hive. Gonna roll in one more time. The Widow Mine's mostly tracking onto front-running Zerglings and Overseers, so no big Widow Mine hits there for innovation. He didn't have enough bio on the ground to stabilize that army. The Mutas take out the Thor. Remember that Thor splash? Oh god, a friendly fire mine takes down 2 medevacs and a pack of Marines. And SoO here, he has a bit of excitement in his pants, and he's gonna start to try and thrust into the Terran defenses. You know, he might just have got it. I think innovation may have just been slightly overextended, but as this washes up, barely enough units to hang on. And once again, look at the units lost tab. You know, these are costly trades for the Zerg. As that 5th base establishes itself, Inno's getting bigger and bigger. Do we have any tech? +3 carapace starts. A second Evo chamber starts up, so we can start melee as well. Still no adrenal glands. Still no ultra cavern. It is Mutiling Bane, and it's all about that momentum at this point. The last fight definitely going a lot better for SoO. It feels like he's got some breathing room. He's respreading creep there. On the right, through the middle. He's got the bottom right base going up. As much as I've been talking up innovations trades, that last series of engagements, it looks like things have really turned around and SoO's bought himself some breathing room. Innovation has to catch his breath. But it's 3-3 versus 2-2. Upgrade advantage to Terran. Ooh, that's a big opening. Oh man, that's going to be a lot of SCVs that fall. The Mutas come in. Marines trying to stem up. He runs away with the Mutas. He actually doesn't need to run. That's like 3 Marines and 2 Widow Mines. Nonetheless, Thor rallying through creep here. That Thor is going to have a bad time. The army trying to branch down to pick off this hatch. I like that he leaves one drop and the rest of his army kind of consolidates a little bit. Ooh, he just lost 5 mines! SoO should jump on this now. Bring all the Mutas over. Don't let this get home. He should just thrust through here. He just killed every Widow Mine in this army. It is exposed. There's not enough Marines. There's no mines to protect them. But it's hard to know that. I get to see everything, right? As far as SoO knows, there could still be 3 Widow Mines in the back of that. I do think if he jumped on that, though, this is another one of those opportunities where Inno caught out on the map a little bit. These mines are the great equalizer. Anytime you catch them clumped up at the front and you roll some Banes in and you just manually detonate, even if you don't have detection, even if it takes you like 10 Banelings to kill 5 or 6 mines, it's well worth it. Because once the mines are gone, the rest of the bio loses power. You know, mines are the force multiplier of the bio mine Thor style. But now Inno's stabilized. 73 SCVs. He's moving to the top left. He's going to that stage. He's going to swap into Ghosts. And this is where things slow down for the Terran. And I kind of worry because I go, oh no, you're going to, like, yeah, you can win. Don't get me wrong. But SoO's maxed. SoO's going to start banking money. And if there's one guy who's the master of smashing 400 Banelings and Ultras and Zerglings into you, from 2 or 3 sides repeatedly. Like, it's SoO. SoO's going to be the player who's so comfortable isolating a base in the top left, rotating, hitting your natural, getting on your production. Obviously, great Marauder spread. He does take a lot of Banelings on the face, but doesn't really lose any units. Marauder's very happy to take that trade. This multi-pushing style is so hard to manage, but these top Terrans have gotten so good at it. The Banelings don't really find anything there. He's pushing on both sides. SoO's going to try to engage. These Marines on the right need to pick up and get the hell out of there. If Banelings find those Marines, he will be in trouble. He's going to try to get in the medevacs. He saves some of them. At the same time, he's won the fight on the left-hand side. Has he just held on the left and also kept his Marines alive on the right? Yeah. I can't believe it. He just held both sides at once. Widowmine gets a hit. Those mutas are all deep in the red. He's waiting for more Banelings to morph. But even if he clears out this army, the hatch is going down. The Ultra Cavern will probably fall. Look at this position behind the minerals. The Marauders holding the choke points. At the same time as this happening, there is a Marine drop. He clears it up, but guess what? Right-hand side, one Baneling hits the Marines, doesn't get the second one, loses the hatch. Pick up. And he's got more Widowmines here as well. Bit of friendly fire on the medevacs, but takes out a few Zerglings. Looks like these medevacs are starting to get cleared up, but I mean, SoO's economy is just destroyed. New bases up in the top left. Extra command centers building. Methodical, non-stop expanding. He's still on Mutiling Bane. He's got +3 armor. He does not have +3 melee or adrenal glands. No, sorry, he got adrenal. He got chitinous plating as well, and he's building a single ultra. But ultras are really good when you've got a lot of money to work with. A single ultra, even with chitinous plating, probably not going to do much in this game. Two-prong push coming in. Widow Mines on the left, that Marine drop on the right. He's still got those same 2 mines from earlier. Left-hand side, SoO's going to collapse on it. Pulls back some of his units, takes a bunch of the Widow Mine shots, and Innovation quick to retreat there, but does lose a bunch of the units on the retreat. At the same time, though, sniping the base on the bottom right. Feels like it's so cool that Terrans have started doing this. I'm going to set up these kind of small trading forces on both sides of the map and just, like, basically bait you into Widow Mine shots over and over. Ooh, good hits, good hits, good hits. In the bottom right, the single Ultra takes 2 Widowmine shots. The Marines pull back. Oh my lord, Ultras are strong. These Zerglings actually overwhelming. Mutas take out the Planetary in the top left. Bio comes forward. Inno is taking economic damage. The Mutas are just going to overwhelm that in the bottom at the same time. A few drones went down. The Marines holding on against the Queens and the Zerglings. The Mutas are going to take out this extra command center. SoO fighting back hard. These Queens with their transfuses hold on for a very long time, and finally these units do go down. The Widow Mines as well. Up in the top left, it looks like a few more Mutas have gone down to Widow Mines. Those ones are burrowed. They've denied these top 2 bases. That's really, really, really good. Unfortunately, it's only 50 workers for the Zerg player. SoO here, he's got a few Ultras out. He's done some economic damage. He's slowed down the machine, but the medevacs are still there. The unit count is still powerful. There's still a Thor, a non-stop stream of Widow Mines, good Marine Marauder count. And what are we up? Three Ultras, 16 Mutas, 52 Zerglings. I mean, when you're down 20 army supply, it's bad in this matchup. Keep in mind, that normally takes into account you having 20 to 50 Banelings. There are 3 Banelings in this army. So you're not just down in supply, you are so far down in supply, right? This is the problem. When a Zerg's bleeding out, you're like, oh, he's down. I've seen Zergs win while down 30 army supply. Yeah, because they had a ton of Banelings, the most supply-efficient unit in the game. When you've got no Banelings, it's mostly Mutas, units which suck in a frontal engage. Each one of these Ultralisks needs to bloody bench 5,000 kilograms of Terran at this point. Like, they need to do some heavy lifting. And I don't think Inno's going to let that happen. He's got that base established. He's pushing this same angle that he seems to love abusing. A good flank here from SoO coming in. The Banelings so far, not really finding the money, but the Ultra flank is so juicy. The Bio's getting whittled down there. It tries to hold its ground, and it's a good cleanup from SoO. An efficient engagement, or about as efficient as he can hope for. That's an orbital. No. No. Can SoO actually get back in this game? You're kidding me. It's fine. There's another army. There's dregs. The reinforce is only 28 Zerglings. We're watching SoO really try to necromance this shit. He's like, quick, band-aids on the Ultra. Let's go again. 2 Ultras, 3 Queens, a pack of, Mutas. If I get rid of this base, then maybe a drop's going to make its way around the right-hand side of the map. That base is up and mining right now. These bases mining reasonably healthily. 1 Ultra runs forward. Remember, these are the new transfuse. It does not heal as much. It does a bit of a heal over time. Not as imba as it used to be. Muta's going to come in, hit for that. The Ultraling Bane pulling back. Ino wants to just keep pushing into this. The Muta's going for that orbital. Ino will not be perturbed. He's just going to keep pushing the front, but nope. Ultraling Bane's pretty good, man. Does save the orbital for now. But SoO just microing these Mutas like a beast, and at the same time, he doesn't want to let him retreat. He comes down here. He says, get on top of it. We've got to win. We've got to get rid of this base now. I know his economy is so much bigger than mine. I've got to slow it down. But these two Ultras, this pack of Mutas, it's not going to be enough. When the units spread out, the Banelings and the Ultras just don't do enough damage. The Muta, of course, very fragile. They've got +3 attack, no armor though. There's no attack upgrades on the Thors, thankfully for the Mutas, but still super rough. Top left base is up one more time. Ino's actually pushing down here, going for the heart of the economy. I love this, a small link count. It's all you need to get rid of these orbitals. They are undefended right now. Ino kind of leaving his pants down a little bit and saying, let's just finish the Zerg's economy. Marine Marauder Mine coming in. There's almost no Banes here. A few Mutas, a few Zerglings. I mean, he's hitting the mineral line on the left and taking out a bunch of SCVs. But I think the Rally of Innovation is dealing with that. Indeed it is. So even with 12 SCVs going down, a bit of lost mining time, defends on the left, snipes the hatch on the right. And if SoO doesn't hold this, he's about to lose his last two bases, which are just down to the left of our current screen. And that's going to be that. Wait. Does he kill both Thors? Oh, hot pickup. There's only 2 Mutas left. There's nothing to kill the Marauders. Question mark. GG. Innovation takes the 2-1 lead there. And we're going into the next map. Boyo! Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Mr. Wilson with the 9-month resub. Popsy, baby out. It is a hybrid. It's disgusting. Take that shit back to Amon, mate. That ain't mine. I'm not paying child support for that. Victor Cardinali with a 3-month resub before as well. Thank you so much. Guys, can you slap some bacon down in chat to say thank you to Boyo? Gifting 5 subs to a bunch of you people. Isn't that kind? Boyo! Very nice of you. Thank you very much, mate. All right, guys, let's go into game 4. Down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the blue, the Terran player, the Machine. He is Innovation. And over here in the left-hand side of the map, in the red, the Zerg player representing the Africa Freaks. It is SoO. Famous, of course, for not using spellcasters. That being said, the last 2 years, SoO has reinvented himself as a player. He now regularly will build a 1 or 2 Vipers or 1 or 2 Infestors in the late game. Usually it does need to go to like 7 base versus 7 base, and he will build up to 2 spellcasters. It's kind of cool to see that he does that sometimes. Also a big fan of making +2 attack for his 52 Corruptors that he's maxed out on, and no other upgrades over a 45-minute period, and allowing Special to win a map, which he probably had no business winning, but yeah, no. That game was just insane. It was so funny, the fight at the end. We're like, isn't the Zerg winning this? You're like, no, apparently 3/3 BCs do pretty good versus Corruptors that don't have armor upgrades. You're like, okay. I guess so. Thank you, No Money. Slapping some cheers down in chat as well. Much love, fam. So SCV comes over, and it's a distraction bunker. He's trying to scare him. Because this is just a... Wait. And he was building a Marine, and then he cancelled it and built a Reaper? Sorry, what are you doing right now, Innovation? What the fuck is this build? Right? Is Innovation drunk? Did he think he was getting proxy hatched? I mean, he purposefully dodged the first Overlord to come in from a surprising angle. SoO's not taking the bait at all. SoO's like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I'm not even going to pull a single drone to fight that bunker. You're an idiot. Innovation's like, oh, I might have got ahead of myself. I was building a Marine at home, then I cancelled it, then I built a Reaper, now I'm building a second Reaper. If anyone can explain this build order to me and what Innovation was planning and why he is doing such madness, please let me know. Because right now, all I see is a big old TVZ syntax error. I can see him twitching, and they're going, it does not compute, syntax error. You know, that opening was very confusing. I'm sure there was a plan. I would love to have the in-story from a high-level Terran player who actually understands what we just witnessed. But what, I don't get it. I'm not sure. It confused me brain hurt. We've got a barracks with a reactor factory. So, of course, he's just going to be swapping to Hellions. It's just going to be... It's already late if you go 2 Reapers, but because he built a Marine, then cancelled it, delaying the first and the second Reaper, it just means, check it out, factory's done, reactor's not ready. You know, it's going to take a little while to swap over. Is going quick third CC into the second gas, though, so is going to be still transitioning. I would expect a Banshee behind this just for safety, but we haven't seen a Banshee so far in this series against SoO, so it might be something where Inno just says, Banshee doesn't do well versus SoO. He's too on point. He's too good at defending, and SoO going a quick lair here. This looks like 2-base Mutt-Mutt. It'd be very cool if it was Nidus Swarm Host to abuse all the area on this map behind the big golden wall that's next to your base. But if Inno plays Bio, that's obviously not very advisable. We did see Jim Rising almost beat you, Thermal, with it. I do feel that was purely off the surprise factor, though. We'll see. Looks like 2-base Muta. Once again, SoO's very slow on taking the third hatchery. I would expect a drone to go out and take that soon, but I think he's just going to go 4-gas and try to get like 10, 12 mutas up really early. And he is indeed. Yeah, third drone going out now. Hellions and Reapers hanging around. The cool thing about 2 Reapers is you can really bounce the Queens around. It's very hard for them to get a third base. Does he take the gold? I don't think he take the gold here. There's a Viking building. I mean, Inno seeing no thirds, got to prepare. I really wonder. It looks like he's not even preparing for Nidus at all. I mean, the Viking will just clear up the Overlord spotters, which I guess defends a Nidus worm from being placed. But I am very curious what the next step is here for Inno. I mean, usually with such a quick third CC, it has to be Bio. Has anyone seen anyone go mech off such a quick third CC? I've seen it happen with the weird double BC, 2-starport BC rush. I don't think I've seen it with like more standard Hellion Liberator pressure or anything like that, though. I feel like almost always third CC goes into this. Now, did SoO actually know about the third CC? He did not. So he doesn't really know what's going on behind this. Spire's on the way. Baneling Nest is on the way. The third base is about halfway done, a bit past that. And he's already droning up that third. So he's already building lots of drones, which he'll send over to his third base. Interesting that they're not just rallied over there since it's finished. SoO's a very old school player, so he probably manually transfers his workers and then sets the rally point. He's still not setting the rally point over there. That's a weird one. Might be an odd mechanical habit where he just manually moves drones over. Super weird. Super weird that these hatcheries aren't rallied up there. Anyways, 7 mutas are on the way. One Zergling sneaks in and he says, "Your gas is being denied. Yeah, haha." This Marine's like, "Get out of here, you dickhead." What's one of these smaller Zerg doing this far out of the hive cluster? Oh, he tries to bounce, but he can't get through. Oh my god, the transfuse! That queen bought so much time. Oh my god. That queen. Oh my god, Bay of the Day award. I think it was this queen here. She just blocked those Hellions. A lot of drone damage. Might have been able to go down there, but now, suddenly you can't even defend your wall from Zerglings. What do you got, a small pack of Marines? You've lost all your anti-Zergling power. If I was SoO, I'd already be thinking about busting with Ling Bane here. I'd be like, you just lost all your Hellions. You're going to be desperately trying to defend the mutas. I actually think the tank is a really good idea here. He's building Marines, a tank. He's going to have to turtle on 2 bases for a while. Do we think he'll try to take this third base, or will he expand out the front? Oh, he's going to expand out the front, so he's going to leave his back door up. SoO, of course, a Zerg player. Zerg players, their tactics is similar to a lot of people in prison. They very much basically are just the creepy guy waiting in the shower for the Terran player to drop the soap. All about the backstabs. All about finding cheeky ways in, but it does take a long time to mine that down, so it's not really feasible. It takes 4 trips of a drone on each of these patches to open that up. And the third command center is up now on the gold, but Inno's down in workers. 4th base, just linear expansion up the top of the map. The creep blossoming through this middle. And if Inno doesn't start pressuring soon, I mean, I feel like he's just getting too far behind. His opening was kind of slosh, a little bit sloppy. The Hellions all got blocked by the Queen. Now the mutas have got control. SoO's droning at 4th. He's got great creep. You're up 20 workers. I mean, the upgrades are slightly ahead for Inno. Are they though? Where's the armory? He forgot his armory. He's got it all in now. Yeah, Ino is just not going to build any more SCVs. He's like, no, we're just going to rally Marines and tanks and try to win with 1-1. Because I'm never going to win later in the game. So Ino is just going all in. I think he needs more barracks because he's got the gold minerals. I do feel like he's going to need more barracks. Notice he's saving scans to clear creep. Oh, the turret goes down as soon as he leaves. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. That muta count's so high, 17 mutas, man. He's got to leave a pack of Marines at that base, and even that pack of Marines can actually get overwhelmed. If he just chooses to fight with the mutas, he can overwhelm those Marines. 1-1 will finish. Bane speed, of course, has been done for a while. SoO getting a bit overeager. I think this is way too early to fight this. Is it, though? If he gets the tanks, it's fine. Oh, he gets the tanks. Loses a few of those mutas, though. Oh, quite a few. Quite a few. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Pull back, make more Banes. Now, Innovation says, okay, there's no Banelings. I lost all my tanks. I lost my sustain. I'm going to do what we call, let's hope I can fucking kill you before your next Banelings morph. So he's going to dive deep and look for the win. SoO just needs to pull back and wait for the Banes. The Banes are getting focused down. Oh, and enough of them hit that I think he should be able to overwhelm. There's only about 11 or 12 Marines. The Lings rallying in, the muta count's there. SoO just slaps it down. Once the tanks are gone, Innovation is going to be just slapped out of this game. I'm going to go back and rewind the opening because I would love to see what the hell Innovation was thinking. So we're watching from Innovation's camera. Barracks gas sends an SCV out to dodge the scout. Is he planning to put a barracks down and then it gets spotted by an overlord? Is that what happens? It must be. Yeah, so he's going to walk into vision of an overlord.
SCV ready.
But he moved so deep, he was always going to do that. I'm very confused. And then he just cancels the Marine. I think the Marine was an accident. I mean, how much build time was that? So he loses. I think it's about 10 seconds of build time. 8, 9, 10. It's like 10, 11 seconds. So do we think if that Reaper was 11 seconds earlier, it would have been able to keep the bunker alive? Or like get in there and be more annoying? So the Reaper would have got there at 221, 222, something like that. So at 221, the Zerglings have just popped. The Reaper's here. You can repair it. You can start killing. Okay, so you could actually be more annoying with this bunker. Not to mention, coming in so early from this angle is trying to scare the opponent, right? So the whole, like, that was definitely correct. The bunker, the Marine, then the Reaper, I think was a mistake. But definitely it was like, hey, you're going to purposely see this SCV coming from a surprise angle. I also don't understand how SoO just knows this is a fake. Innovation's clearly timed this out to make it look like a Marine rush. How does SoO know? Is this just him going, nah, I know your mind game? There must be so much metagaming going on that SoO's like, not even going to pull a single drone to delay that bunker? It's fine. The metagame, man. SoO's like, nah, it's fine. I'm like, wouldn't you just pull one drone for safety? I guess he pulled one drone, but he literally didn't even send it to the bunker. He just uses it to mine. He's checking for another bunker or a barracks hit. What is he? He's thinking about building a spine crawler. But then he sees no Marines coming. So he's actually accepting the bunker getting up if it's a proxy barracks. Oh my lord, that's a weird one. People are saying he's done the same mind game and had Zerg players pull every worker. Cool. That's one of those moments where what SoO did in that game is either 200 IQ or 2 IQ, right? It's it's like, I'm like, wouldn't you just at least send a drone to deal with the bunker? I'm so confused, yeah. He left his OV out there. He would have lost it if it was a proxy. Yeah, it would have bought time at least, but I don't know, man. The absolute madman gambler that he is down here in the bottom left. We're in game 5. This game will seal the deal one way or the other. Representing the Africa Freaks, it's SoO. And he got very freaky in that early game. But yeah, I do think Inno building the Marine was a terrible idea. Unfortunately, it did slow down his build. Big shout outs to SoO's Queen, though. For blocking that ramp. That was a beautiful block. And he even grenaded it, and she didn't even move. She was like, you can't fucking bounce me that shitty KD8 grenade. I'm a big-boned queen. You need some serious action if you want to push me out of the way. And then eventually, the next grenade did bounce her out of the way, but she'd already blocked the Hellions for so long. So this man, not wanting his Hellions to get blocked here in this game, not wanting to get pinned back on 2 bases for so long if he's going up against those quick muta builds, it is innovation. Someone mentioned a new ladder tomorrow. What's that mean? Will it affect me? Is there? I don't know when the new season is. Does anyone actually know when the new season is? We've had new maps. If you guys want to see my video, it's on my YouTube channel. You guys can type !maps in chat to link it up. By the way, quick plug. The Drogo Pig Show. We had an awesome conversation talking about how Drogo doesn't want to be a cuck. You got to watch this show to actually see the context for that. !Pig Show in chat. We talked about, you know, being a very emotional player in the craziest, most intense, awesome game. We talked about his tennis spirit animal, who also rages, a French tennis player. We talked about, yeah, not wanting to be a cuck. Lots of good stuff. !Pig Show. And there's a link to the most recent episode. !follow if you want, of course, all the audio podcast formats of that. But yeah, I actually am really looking forward to the new map pool. Some people were upset. They said this is really standard. This is really boring. We're keeping Golden Wall. I'm not sure if we're keeping Zen. I don't think we're keeping Zen. I think it's Everdream. So, because we got like 3 new maps, right? So I think we keep Everdream, Golden Wall, Eternal Empire. We're losing Nightshade and Simulacrum. I'm sad about losing Nightshade. It's 4 new ones. So it's just, yeah, we're just keeping those 3, I think. Everdream, Golden Wall, and Eternal Empire. They did get rid of Purity and Industry. Initially, if you watch that video, I'm like, oh, Purity's still in it. They changed that the next day. They said, no. Okay, we've got feedback. Everyone's like, why are you leaving Purity? No! So they did remove Purity and swapped it in for Eternal Empire. They're leaving in for another season. I'm not sure when those new maps come out, but should be out soon. Reaper being a bit of a dick. I like it. Overall, though, good Spore Crawler trick, solid macro opening from SoO, who once again, like I said, has not scouted the natural every game. I really would have loved to see just some super wacky 1-base all-in, like a delayed one. This is floating out the front to get rid of the Overlord, but SoO never uses those pervert pillars. He always goes and has his Overlords in the most conservative positions of all time. Now, you know, he's checking both pillars. He's like, where's your Overlord at, man? And SoO's like, I'm coming to watch from the shadows. You know, when you're a kid and your mum's like, there's no monster in the closet. And you're like, there is, I heard him. Well, guess what? If you're a Terran player, there is in fact an Overlord in the closet and he is watching you touch yourself. This Overlord now, walkie-talkie's back, he says, oh yes, he's got a very firm, solid command center, a 3rd one building in the base. SoO's like, okay, you know, I wish you could just give me the scouting information without being such a creep Overlord, but I guess I have to embrace your super long sight vision and creepy nature for me scouting good. The Overlord says, yes, I like to watch. It's cool. Abathur, of course, is probably the one who should be blamed since he literally evolved an entire subspecies of Zerg to Perv. You can even, of course, morph them into Overseers. And if you've ever looked closely at an Overseer, it literally just has extra eyeballs sticking out of its head so it can Perv better. You're like, oh, and it can move faster so it can run away when people are like, can you stop? You know, Overlord over there with the binoculars in the trench coat in the bushes. Can you not? But the Overseer's like, oh, I can run faster and see from further away. Oh yeah, okay, cool. This is creepy. Anyways, minimal Zerglings have got SoO in trouble multiple times in this series. What the fuck am I looking at, SoO? You have 3 Zerglings at the 5-minute mark. If he doesn't lose every drone on this base, it's a travesty. The crazy thing is, guys, Inno needs to kill more drones. SoO was so greedy, 14 drones isn't even enough. He actually needs to kill another few to make this worth it. SoO was so disgustingly greedy in this opening. He was like, yeah, I just have no units. Like, are you insane? This is what I was talking about earlier in this series, how SoO's a corner cutter. Sometimes he just goes, I think you're going to play defensive this opening and not dive your Hellions, and he will just have no defense for a solid minute and a half at the moment where a Hellion dive could hit. And you're like, what? How do you know you can get away with that? SoO's like, I don't. I just hope. I'm like, oh my lord, you're a crazy boy. Loses 22 drones for it. So I think that was totally fine for innovation. He's still got the Banshees alive, so there's a bit of continued pressure. Should probably hang around and pick off the Creep Tumors on the edge, just slow that down. Maybe drop a scan over here. But because SoO had droned so hard, it's something where, I think this is something, if you guys ever have been frustrated where you've killed a lot of a Zerg's drones, and then you end up losing later, you go, oh, I killed drones and he's still ahead. I think what you all need to remember is that if the Zerg has invested everything in drones and been crazy greedy and has no defense, you don't need to, like, if they've built tons of Zerglings and Queens, you can kill 3 or 4 drones, keep your Hellions alive. That's more than enough damage. You've totally fine. You don't even need to kill workers. You just need to not throw your units away. But if they only build drones this hard, the kind of gauge of what is the amount of damage you need to do for it to be worth it goes way up, because you're dealing with a greedy piece of shit. It's the equivalent of, imagine if you saw a Protoss who just took 4 expansions before Cybercore, right? You don't just go, oh, well, I killed 5 probes, so I'm ahead. You go, no, I've got to kill 2 of these bases, like, right now. So I think that's something where you've got to have this scale of understanding what damage means against a Zerg player. Against a really all-in Zerg player who's running around with a big army the whole game, you kill a few drones, that's amazing. But against a greedy mother trucker like SoO in this game, you're like, oh, I'd like to kill 36 with my first Hellions, please. And then I will feel ahead in this game. You know, like SoO was disgustingly greedy. He got punished for it. Innovation's still in a good position, but he's not massively ahead. It's a playable scenario. Bane speeds up nice and early. A big Ling Bane Muta counterattack coming. Oh my god, there's not many Marines here. There's not many Marines here. I mean, he's got Marines in the main. They shoot down one of the medevacs, but those Queens are going to go down. At the same time, the Marines and the tanks push this back. Oh man, SoO's Spire and Spawning Pool are both on a very exposed edge here. The Bio takes down a few of those Queens. I like this pullback. He says, let's pull back and just maintain this position and just try to take the best trade that I possibly can. Good transfuses here. That big boned lass taking out the Marines on the high ground. And these Marines going to do what they can. They focus fire 1 Mutalisk. Will they get a second? They will not. It's a good hold, a good cleanup here from SoO. Things look dicey, but those Queens really buying a lot of time. And of course, that medevac's not going to be able to boost out of there. Let's check the upgrades, check the production. Back at home, 2-2 starts up right now. So there is about a 30-second upgrade advantage for innovation. Second factory is on the way. So he's got 1 factory building tanks and drilling claws, and a 2nd factory that will build a reactor and start pumping mines. But that's a long way away. So it's still going to be biotank for the next 2 minutes, and then the Widow Mines will start exploding. No 4th command center in sight. It's a great SCV count, but definitely needs that 4th CC up sooner rather than later. He's pushing down the left-hand side for that exact same push angle. But SoO here just dives on top. Oh my god, he might just get it. He might just get it here. He gets the tank. He gets in the mineral line. Oh no, he wanted to get that push angle, and SoO is just such an unafraid player. He's got to picks up the whole army, boosts into the main. It's a bit of a wild base trade right now. The rally point is set to the front. He needs to set it to the back. He does set it to the back. The SCVs come forward to try and just take a few Banelings and Zerglings out to buy even just a few seconds of time. The Marines are in the main base, but there's Banelings morphing. This situation always favors the Zerg. If they can get on top of the production, they should usually be able to hold on at home with Speed Banes. I think he went in a bit early with those Banelings. I think he should be giving up his main. Has he rebuilt his spawning pool? He has not rebuilt his spawning pool. Oh no, SoO, you got to rebuild that spawning pool, buddy. I mean, he's got the production, he's cracked it. The Marines might slowly be able to do this. Remember, the 3rd base is still mining healthily for innovation. If he gets a pack of Marines up and holds his main, oh my god, a Thor's gonna pop. That Thor, the game changer. Oh shit, that Thor on an all-vegan diet, and yet it's still 500,000 pounds of pure metal. Doesn't matter, Mutalisks take it down because they are meat eaters. They've been feasting on that high-protein, accessible nutrient marine flesh this whole time. Vegan Thor does get fucked. Meanwhile, Speedbanes come forward. They're going to try to take this out. That tank! Oh, lovely positioning on the tank. But at the same time, the production's being breached. And with the production going down, it looks like SoO is going to evict innovation from this game. How is the spawning pool not done yet? Oh my god, SoO. He's been so good at microing, but he forgot such a crucial thing in that spawning pool. It should have been the first thing he replaced. Even after that initial push on that angle, I would have built a backup spawning pool. But what can I say? SoO's a much faster, much better player than I am. He's got the spawning pool back up, 16 Zerglings building, but he's already lost so much of his lava. And he doesn't have many units. His Baneling Nest is still up. If he can keep that alive, he's got a chance here. He's got a few Queens. He's got a pack of Banes. YOLOing with this 4 medevac drop at the same time. Widowmine's building one at a time. The rest of the production is toast up here in the main base. That Widowmine will go down. This drop coming forward, it's not really able to find anything. He's going to keep looking for an angle. If he can unload there, that would be a good tank siege location. Yeah, he's going to use it. Good siege location. Widowmine does take out a muta. Each time that happens, that's good for Inno. He's going to try and rally back to this turret. That'll be his staging point. All right, this hatchery going down. A macro hatch will probably fall here as well. Ooh, good micro. SoO's snapping these. And he contaminates the factory. The only thing building units right now for Innovation. The Contaminate comes down, literally pooping on Innovation's hopes and dreams here. And I mean, it looks like SoO's done this just with one crazy backstab up into the natural. Seems to have broken through here against Innovation. And it's just done an amazing job. This Marine tank coming forward. It's still a good army for Inno. I just don't know if it's enough. I feel like he just loses the base trade here. One Viking got out. There's still way too many Banelings. And yeah, SoO can easily push that back. He's still got a base mining on his third and on his natural at the same time. Yeah, it's just about these units getting cleaned up. I mean, SoO could just win the base trade, but he's not sure if there's buildings hidden anywhere. So he's like, let's just come back and crush this army. I know I can win this fight. And it looks like SoO is going to turn this series around and take out Innovation here. One big backstab into the natural. I think Inno there, he was going for a very abusive push path, and it can work out really well for you. But it does take your army way out of position. And, I mean, SoO, I think, had this in mind the whole game. That Inno was going to push to this really ridiculous area that you can't really engage into. And you could tell, even from the first push, SoO was like trying to find this weak point. He'd already went for it earlier. Now, I think you could argue, as a Terran player here, if you know this is the scenario, maybe you put a barracks there with a reactor on it, like your third barracks or something, rather than the depot. Maybe you reinforce that. Well, maybe you just have a scout out to see this is coming, and you just pull your army back, or you know, you have your Marines there a little bit earlier to kill the mutas before the depot goes down. That depot was already dead by the time the Lingbane got in, and even just having a handful more Marines out, who knows? You might have been able to hold on top of your ramp, right? If you get these depots up, you get like 10 more Marines on top of the ramp. These Marines pop units out so fast. It's a small difference between having 10 Marines stim and kill half of these mutas immediately and stabilize and get your production alive, and SoO barely cracking through. It's a frustrating way for Inno to lose. I think if he got this push in even 20 seconds earlier than this backstab hit, it would have been massive. But great play by SoO. Turns that game and that series around. Ends up winning it 3-2. GG, well played. If you guys are enjoying these casts, don't forget to follow the channel. Click the bell icon so you get notifications when videos go live. And yeah, if you want to go that extra mile, you've been watching a lot of the content, please consider supporting the Patreon. Link is down below in the YouTube description. Lots of new supporters recently. Much love for all of you, allowing the YouTube content to continue getting better and better. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.